Today on Locked On Rockies, the team drops the series to the Arizona Diamondbacks, including 2 shutouts, but at least the offense did come alive for one game and maybe one of the most fun games of the season.
You are Locked On Rockies, your daily Colorado Rockies podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Rock on Rockies fans, welcome into the Locked On Rockies podcast for today, the 19th day of May in the year 2025. I am your host of the Locked On Rockies podcast, Paul Holden, bringing you your daily Colorado Rockies talk right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, where you can find your team every day. And if your team is the Colorado Rockies, guess what? You're in the right spot, because that's what we do around here each and every day, free and streaming on your favorite streaming services and on the Locked On Rockies YouTube channel, where you can be part of the show. You could fire off your Rockies hot take. You can let me know what's on your mind when it comes to the Colorado Rockies, just like so many of you have already throughout the season. We'll be rocking and rolling here as breaking down the weekend for the Colorado Rockies, what stuck out, and just kind of looking big picture stuff. Once again, thank you for making us your first listen of the day. Today, we are brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins at FanDuel. Rockies get shut out twice, but they also beat the Diamondbacks. What was that? 16-14, 14-12. 14-12 was when the offense came alive and handled business there. But the Rockies blanked 8-0 in the first game, and then in the finale, they're blanked 1-0. So the biggest problem, like we talked about, is consistency. This team can't be consistent. This team has not been able to. The team has only put together back-to-back wins once this year. They've never been able to put together a whole full series yet in 2025 of solid baseball. Again, great signs from the offense on Saturday, in which the offense is able. The Rockies get down. The Rockies are trailing. The Rockies are facing another situation in which, oh boy, here we go again. But they finally are the ones that stick with and handle. I called it a drunk game because, let's be honest, it was a drunk game. I mean, it was a back and forth affair with offense all over the place and this and that. No, my goodness. But it's good to see that the Rockies were the ones that came out on top of that. But then sandwiched in between this exciting, fun offensive day is 2 shutouts where you're just sitting there and you're saying, oh, my goodness. And again, the Rockies were going up against the first 3 in the Diamondbacks rotation. These are great pitchers that the Rockies were going up against here in the 3 games against Arizona. But it is another reminder of that's the rotation of a divisional opponent. That's the standard here in the National League West. It's another example of, hey, this is it. It doesn't matter. I mean, and it's going to be like this going forward. I mean, every time that the Rockies get a reminder here, it has to bring pressure onto the front office to say, look, you are looking at the gap continuing to widen. Now, I'm hoping that throughout the rest of this year and through the evaluation from the team and from what's going forward and everything, that they're taking serious notes on the weaknesses of this team, on how teams are being able to be so effective at stifling and shutting down the Colorado Rockies. Again, 11 strikeouts. I believe it was 11 yesterday in the finale. And it's just strikeout still. It's until this team can find a way to not strike out 14 times in the first game there again, or the last game against Arizona. And even in the win here, they're just crazy. The Rockies win and they strike out less than 10 times, right? Isn't that pretty funny how it works out? Still 7 strikeouts in that game. And then we go back to game 1 there against Arizona, and it's 14 strikeouts. Again, I know it's Corbin Carroll or Corbin Burns. I know it's all these guys that are great pitchers that the Rockies went up against, but there's great pitchers everywhere. There's great pitchers, and especially when Merrill Kelly gave you a couple walks. If you can just start getting the ball in play, it's what's so deflating, and it's what's so frustrating about watching the Rockies. It's like, well, what happened on Saturday? What was the difference in approach? What was the difference in philosophy? What were you seeing on Saturday that was able to help you bounce back and forth? 3-run spot. And again, it was the classic thing of, oh, here we go. Rockies, hot start. And, oh, my God, Arizona right back in it. 3 runs. And then they put up another 3. The Rockies are down 6-3 in the second there. But then the Rockies score 3 in the 3rd. The Rockies score 4 in the 6th, 3 in the 7th, 1 in the 9th. Even with the 2 errors that they committed there, the Rockies piled up 19 hits in that ball game. Why can we not replicate that? And it's easier said than done, absolutely. But we're talking about our professional athletes and professional athletes in baseball. Where are the hitting streaks? Where are the? I mean, and we've seen a couple hitting streaks, we've seen a couple on base streaks, but it's just putting the pieces together consistently instead of it being awful, nightmare, abysmal, flash of light, flash of hope, flash of something, boom. I mean, that's the 2025 Rockies on full display in a small sample size against Arizona this weekend with, oh, wow, dominated 8-0 shutout, bunch of strikeouts in that first game, not even close. Oh, here we go. We're in a roller coaster of a fun one. And boy, was that ball flying out of the yard on Saturday night. I mean, it seemed like every single time the ball was hit, no matter who was hitting it, it was going, an extra 20, 30 feet there in the desert. My point is what continues to be so disheartening about the Rockies is the lack of consistency. We've seen a couple of moments where the offense can flash. We've seen moments where some of these pitchers have been able to step up and put themselves and put their team in a position to win. But we see it once a week. We see it once every 10 days. We see it it just is so weird. And it's part of baseball, I guess, but to just see constantly these type of series where it's just like, hey, what happened there? Like, why did everything just happen on one game? Why couldn't we put together throughout a full stretch of a series? But I don't know. It's just another series loss, and another ones where you look at the what ifs and the what's and the possibilities and the blah 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 blah. It's just so many times that there's only so often we can just say on the what ifs in this thing. I was hoping that the big offensive outburst was going to be a time for the Rockies to kind of use that to bounce back and kind of, again, Arizona's had their number, but Arizona is a team they used to have success against, so try to unlock some of that old magic. But it really truly does not matter until the Rockies can start getting some sort of an approach that's going to work. It's clear that this offense just is so outmatched by the vast majority of pitching staffs in Major League Baseball. They just simply cannot handle elite strikeout guys. I mean, the Rockies are very much, when they're talking about the 3 true outcomes, it is very much strikeout is their true outcome. It continues to just be that's just not entertaining. It's not entertaining, and it just doesn't build confidence when it's just whiff, wave, taking pitches that they can't be taken, down on strikes, missed opportunities. The strikeout is the most frustrating out, and it will continue to just plague the Rockies until they can get any sort of an adjustment to start figuring things out, because the strikeout rate, the amount of strikeouts, and still, again, the lack of adjustment. I know it's now with Warren Schaefer and Clint Hurdle and all the changes. I'm talking about the players themselves getting up there and finding it out and figuring out their approach that's going to start putting them in a position of confidence, because there are people that are hitting the ball. There are people that are doing their job. There are people that are contributing. Jordan Beck comes up. Ezekiel Tovar returns from the injured list and does his job. Hunter Goodman continues to have a strong start. Brendan Doyle, on the other hand, we're still struggling with. But man, and just look at the stark difference too in pitching staff strikeouts. Herman only a strikeout, Angel only a strikeout, Bird 2, Agnos 2, Tyler Kinley 1. That's a total of 2, 4, 6, 7 strikeouts there in the game on Saturday. The Diamondbacks tied that, but Zach Gallen had 5 on his own, on just the starter. And that's the game that they won. So the strikeouts weren't as much of a problem. The Rockies able to get after and tag that bullpen a little bit. But the Rockies starting pitching in the first game of the series didn't get Carson Palmquist in his debut didn't get one, but then the bullpen couldn't get any strikeouts going. Only the one there. Compared to the Diamondbacks, 10 strikeouts from Corbin Byrne, 2 strikeouts from Kevin Ginkel, 2 strikeouts from Scott McGough, 14 strikeouts to 2 strikeouts there when you're not only talking about being dominated on the scoreboard and you're being talked about dominating that. And then again, the close game there where the only difference was one run on the scoreboard between one run on the scoreboard and one hit, a run that happened in the first inning. Merrill Kelly, 11 strikeouts. Kevin Ginkel, 2 strikeouts. Shelby Miller, 1 strikeout. The Rockies got 7. So, it's not only are they behind on the offensive side, but they're behind on being able to put people out and get the outs needed that they needed to. And it's just kind of crazy that you couldn't get one clutch hit. You couldn't get one person to start getting something going here against the Merrill Kelly and the Diamondbacks there. I always want to say Corbin Carroll when it's like, no, Corbin Carroll does not pitch. But we'll see. I do like the fact that Brenton Doyle's being moved around in the lineup a little bit, trying to get him out of that slump and try to get him back hitting. I think that is the right move. I think Beck in the leadoff spot will be pretty interesting as well. We'll see. We'll see what the return of Ezequiel Tovar does for the Rockies overall. I'm sure they're still going to be nursing that hip and still worried about that hip. But the Rockies are staring 8-40 dead in the face. They have the Phillies coming up next, and it's going to be real tough. Let's talk a bit about some slumps I'm still concerned about here coming up next on today's episode of Locked On Rockies. Before we do that, though, got to tell you about the folks that help make this show possible, and that includes Wonderful Pistachios. If you're looking for a snack that's both delicious and nutritious, crack into a good source of protein with Wonderful Pistachios. Wonderful Pistachios is one of the highest protein nuts. Each 1 ounce serving has 6 grams of protein, giving you over 10% of your daily value. Plus, they're packed with fiber and better for you unsaturated fats to help keep you feeling fuller longer. You can get the no shells variety if you want to skip the mess. Maybe you're in a spot where you don't want to get shells all over your desk. Or you could be like me, who loves cracking them open. I love the smell. I love the sound. I love the whole fun of cracking open some Wonderful Pistachios and getting that protein-packed snack. Whether you're running between meetings or dropping off the kids, Wonderful Pistachios are the snack that works as hard as you do. Get snacking and get cracking with the snack that packs a protein punch. Visit wonderfulpistachios.com. That's wonderfulpistachios.com to learn more. This is the Locked On Rockies podcast for free and streaming on your favorite streaming services, bringing you your daily Colorado Rockies talk right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, where you can find your team every day. And if your team is the Colorado Rockies, guess what? You are right in the right spot, because that's what we do around here each and every day, free and streaming on your favorite streaming services here on the Locked On Rockies podcast. We can see how it's going on here. Let's see what Jim says. Scoring. They can't win if they don't score. One other thing, until Dick Monfort lets someone who knows what they're doing run the team, they will never be the team that we want to see. Does anyone believe that Dick Monfort knows what he's doing? Like I said, knows what he's doing, running a successful business, but on the baseball side. And again, that's as much as we've been just kind of harping on that, right? I briefly mentioned this in the first segment there. It's just, the record shows it. The stats show it. It comes down to every single loss that the Rockies take this year. Every single time that they make worst in baseball history, worse than this. There has to be this continued pressure for internal reflection of the Rockies. They need to be evaluating every single last detail about what they're doing, about what they're going to do to fix this, and how they're going to invest in this team to start fixing what is going on. Because, again, we're talking about a team that has constantly found themselves not just outmatched, but outmatched greatly. Outmatched greatly in terms of preparation, in terms of, and again, I don't know if it's sitting here to just say abilities or whatever, but proven players, proven talent. And those guys have been able to use their resources from within their organization to make the adjustments that they need to get to the places they want to be. And again, if you coming in this week to Coors Field, you not only are the Rockies going to be severely outnumbered when it comes to, it is going to be loud for the opposition this week at Coors Field. We know that for a fact. It is going to be packed at Coors Field most likely, and it's not going to be packed with Rockies fans. I just think that at some point this season has to become just there's going to have to be a moment, and I don't know if it's already happened. I don't know if it is. But eventually there is going to have to be a moment that's going to click for this organization that says the overhaul of everything is necessary. This status quo, this run, this stretch is no longer acceptable. We cannot sit here and enable ourselves into believing that we think that we have everything under control and that we are in the driver's seat towards where we want to go. We can keep hearing there's optimism. We can keep hearing this. We can keep hearing that. But it is abundantly clear that the Colorado Rockies are so far behind organizational wise from the top down. I just, when it's just going to be, it's one thing when you watch the Diamondbacks and the Rangers the last couple of series, right? And the Diamondbacks are actually a prime example of who the Rockies should want to be. But it's like when you have Philly and you have the Yankees coming in, right? When you have, biggest names in the business, deep playoff hopes, deep playoff runs, consistently, mind you. And you can sit there and say, money, blah, 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 market, blah, 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 blah. Yes, you can. Absolutely. And those are valid things. But none of those teams have been able to find and build themselves consistent greatness. They've been able to use their brand and their market and their identity and everything like that to build a baseball team that is competitive year in and year out. And both of those teams have fallen short of their ultimate goals. But how successful overall would you take the recent Yankees and Phillies seasons over the Rockies' most recent seasons? I bet you will. And again, it is really not a fair comparison to make between the Rockies and the Phillies and the Yankees. They're in completely different. There's so much different about them. But at the same time, that's the standard. That you can complain about teams spending money or whatever, right? But there are a lot of teams that make that their standard, that have made good, successful, strong baseball and making the playoffs and making playoff runs. That's their standard. The Rockies' standard is last place in the NL West. The Rockies' standard is putting their head in the sand and saying, no, we believe what we are doing is correct. We are doing this and handling our business our way. We know what's going to work. We've tried these things. Remember, we've heard from the organization say, no, we've tried the outside stuff. We've tried that. We know what's going to work. And that was immediately before this season. So when I do see teams like the Phillies and the Yankees come to town, it is jealousy. And it's not just jealousy because of they have money that they can spend. Oh, they have this. No, it's jealousy because they have an organization that wants to win. And Yankees fans will probably disagree with that, with some of the stuff and them falling behind the Dodgers and being the ultimate big spending team and all that stuff. But making the playoffs and having winning records, that's successful to me. Winning the World Series is obviously the ultimate success and the ultimate goal for every team. But it's more so being a consistent contender. And that's what these teams have built for years and years. And it goes back. The Rockies this year, they can't even win a couple of games together, let alone put together a stretch that would put them in a competitive spot or go on a streak. Like, do we really think the Rockies are going to get a 5-game winning streak this year at any point in the season? I mean, with this schedule, with the way the other teams are performing, with the way they are performing, I just want consistent play. I just want consistent competition. I just want the Rockies to feel and seem like they're a competitive team. But at this point and at this stage and this iteration of the team, they just flat out aren't. And yes, there's some injuries and this and that to point to, but you point to the decisions being made for years at this point from the Rockies organization as the trajectory from the post playoffs continues to go down and down and down. This team is going to be constantly reminded throughout this season that it's going to take a lot to overhaul this team and get them anywhere close to being competitive. And it's going to take some money too. It's going to take spending money. They said it on the broadcast last night as the Nuggets were getting blown out there in the NBA Finals. If you want to win a championship, and I'm not even talking championship for the Rockies. Of course, this statement is way more relevant to the state of the Nuggets right now. But if you want to win a championship, it's going to come at a cost. If you want to be successful, if you want to be good, if you want to be consistently good, if you want to be a team that is in the running each year, like the Phillies and the Yankees are, the two teams coming into Coors, you have to spend money. You have to be aggressive. You have to be successful at evaluating talent. I just don't know when the massive overhaul takes place, and I don't even know if the massive overhaul takes place for the Colorado Rockies. But it is long overdue. And that's nothing new for you folks. That's nothing that I said in this segment was new information to you guys. But I want to focus. I was going to say this, but I just went off on the soapbox there. Let's talk about two guys that, man, I really need to get things going here. Seen a couple of things, but it just is another highlight of what's there. And my question is, do we have confidence moving forward throughout the year when these guys? We'll talk about that coming up next here on Locked On Rockies. Before we do that, though, got to tell you about the folks that help make this show possible, and that includes FanDuel. The NBA playoffs are in full swing, and every night delivers highlight-worthy performances, major momentum shifts, and can't-miss moments. Whether it's a game-winning shot or a breakout player, there's never been a better time to get in on the action. FanDuel makes it easier to stay in the game before tip-off and live with player props, performance trends, and same-game parlays. Fans have way more ways to play than ever to play smart and win big. Maybe you're going to dive in now that the Nuggets are out. Maybe you're going to go and back, I don't know, the Knicks, for example. See what's going on over there in terms of taking the Knicks money line to start this series off right. Maybe you like Halliburton for points. You can see it all for yourself on FanDuel. And when your first $5 bet wins, you're going to get $200 in bonus bets. Yes, $200 in bonus bets to add to your excitement of hitting that first bet. If you're new to FanDuel, it's the perfect time to sign up. Head to FanDuel.com and place your first $5 bet. If it wins, you'll get $200 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Locked On Rockies here, closing things out on today's episode for the 19th of May. Here's the Rockies do get ready for the Phillies coming into town next, the 3-gamer with the Phillies, and then the 4-gamer with the Phillies weekend series with the Yankees. So lots of East Coast ball for the Colorado Rockies at home, and it's going to be dangerous. I mean, these are going to be some offenses ready to rock and ready to roll against a team that has struggled mightily and a team that's they're looking to feast and build off of. Phillies already taking care of business against a bad team, sweeping the Pirates in their most recent series, so they're coming into Coors Field on a 3-game winning streak. And the Phillies looking to bounce back after a series loss, too. They've won 2 out of their last 3 series there. And what they've done is score some runs in that time. I mean, not a ton of runs, but only blanked once in their last 8 games there. So and a couple of not huge performances, but they've scored more than 5 runs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of their last 8. They scored 5 runs in one of those games. But so that's 5+ runs. And when we've been looking at that, the Rockies, when it's a crooked number that the Rockies are down by, it is very rare this year that they've been able to come back. So if the Rockies are going to get into this series, if the Rockies are going to have a chance here, they're going to have to start immediately. They're going to have to do what they did on Saturday. They're going to have to win those back and forth affairs, and they're going to have to hope they're getting performances from Brenton Doyle, one of the guys I'm really starting to worry about here. I'm liking the fact that they're adjusting him in the lineup. I think, of course, with not only the struggles of the season, but with his personal life, there's kind of some stuff that I allow that we can let slide, considering the mental side of baseball. It's probably a huge toll, but the Rockies need Brenton Doyle to get going here. The Rockies, maybe we were too bullish on the bounce back from Brenton Doyle, maybe too excited about his season last year, and maybe got too excited about the possibility of the offense here. But on the flip side, he is someone that the Rockies have seen before, and they know that they've been able to get success from. So I think by dropping him in the lineup and helping and continuing to work with him to figure this stuff out, I hope is going to lead to the Rockies being able to help him break through that. And I do hope that bringing Ezekiel Tovar back into the lineup kind of pads that a little bit, mixing it with Jordan Beck and Hunter Goodman there, who have had that. So the Rockies starting to add kind of some guys there. If Tovar, his first game back. But for it to be that, And for him to have the 5 hits, him to be so short of the cycle, him to really put some thump into the ball and some life, he's going to be a game changer. And I'm hoping that pairing is really going to help him. And then on the pitching side, I mean, the Rockies need to back up Kyle Freeland here tonight too, if they want to have some success. But Kyle Freeland needs to shove a little bit as well, and that goes for every starter. Every starter for the Rockies needs to up their game, and it's just unacceptable for Antonio Senzatella to continue to get hit around the way he is. German Marquez, it's just the disappointment continues, especially when it's just like, oh my goodness, what does the rest of the season even look like for German? And that one is just one of the most disappointing things, certainly. It has just been so tough to see what has happened with German, even as, again, I know it's the arm stuff, but it's just not looked like the same pitcher very much. I mean, these guys need to start breaking through here. It needs to, as much as we focused on the front office, we keep bringing it back to this too. It's like, hey, the front office and the guys can only put the roster out on the field right now, right? So these professional athletes need to make the adjustments, need to get stuff going too. And that includes, it's like, if I'm Antonio Senzatella, I'm sitting there saying, okay, I'm getting hit a ton. What am I missing? Where are the pieces where I can start getting that weak contact? But unfortunately, with the Rockies pitching staff, they haven't been able to just bank on the defense being as good as they needed it to be with the errors. We saw 2 errors in the win. Did they have errors in yesterday's game as well? I think they might have. Let me double check here. So I'm going back in all of my tabs here. No errors for the Rockies in the finale, but in the win they did have another 2 errors. That lack of clean baseball has also been a problem for some of these guys. But this week is another prove it moment for the Colorado Rockies in 2025. You're at home. It should be where you benefit. It should be where your team plays better. It should be where you're most comfortable, and you have good teams. So how are you going to handle it? There's nothing at this point. It's just the question is, will the Rockies rise to the occasion or not? It's up to them to start putting things together and start figuring things out. I mean, again, we're not in the locker room. We're not here. We're not discussing. We're not seeing exactly it. But it's just how long can you continue to just roll out the same approach, roll out the same philosophy, roll out the same thing, and expect different results? But maybe you can't really think but maybe it's much more difficult than we think. Maybe it's not so simple as just, oh, you need to make the adjustment. Oh, you need to do this. Because these teams are really good. It's just, I bring that point up all the time because it seems like other teams are able to do that against the Rockies, right? Oh, maybe the first time through the order, it's not successful, but then the second time coming up, oh, it's base hits. Or, man, they're able to jump on the Rockies immediately. Boom, right out the gate. Boom, immediately. Aggression, boom. They know what's going to go. They know that they can attack this pitching staff. They know that they can do damage early. I'm just curious why that is. It just the difference of skill of the players and the abilities of the players, or is it something with the numbers, the approach, the behind the scenes stuff that other teams are so much more successful with, and in-game adjustments are successful with than the Colorado Rockies? Another thing too, the Rockies got to get lucky. There's a huge part about this week where the Rockies, or I guess it's not this week, this season, where the Rockies have been unlucky, but you can't just bank on luck. You got to hope that Brenton Doyle breaks the slump. You got to hope that German Marquez and Antonio Senzatella and Kyle Freeland can turn it around and be the veteran backbone that pitching staff was supposed to be this year. And you got to hope that these other guys can keep adjusting too. You got to hope that Beck and Goodman continue to progress at the rate that they are. The silver lining, the exciting members of this team, mixed with the hope that the return of Ezekiel Tovar and less pressure on some of these other guys hopefully will allow them to be more comfortable and be more productive. But I'm not going to hold my breath, and it's looking like a possible long week ahead for the Rockies. Hope it's not. Hope we get surprised, but we shall see here as the Colorado Rockies take on the Phillies tonight, getting ready for Kyle Freeland taking on Christopher Sanchez. Christopher Sanchez this year has a 3.08 ERA, 15 walks to 45 strikeouts, 1.24 whip. 13 earned runs here. In his last 3, he did give up 2 earned against St. Louis, 2 earned against Washington, but no earned there against Tampa Bay. Here's the big kicker there is the thing to watch out as they're going up against the Rockies here. 8 strikeouts, 5 strikeouts, 6 strikeouts in his last 3 starts. So the strikeouts certainly a part of Sanchez's toolkit here, but 3 walks at least in his last 3 starts. So if the Rockies can get free bases, they got to punish. That is going to be a secret key to being successful in this series. When you're given your opportunities, when you're given your moments to score, you got to cash them in, and that's something the Rockies have struggled with this year. Folks, that's going to do it for today's episode of Locked On Rockies. Thank you so much for making us your first listen of the day. We're free and streaming on your favorite streaming services, bringing you your daily Colorado Rockies talk. For your second listen of the day, go check out Locked On MLB Game Night. Every game, every night, all season long, get local analysis on a national scale. Find MLB Game Night on Locked On MLB on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. So go check that out. And as always, if you need more Colorado sports coverage, Locked On Broncos, Avalanche, Nuggets, and Buffs, free and streaming on your favorite streaming services. Until next time, I'm Paul Holden saying so long from the Locked On Rockies podcast.